the ultimate treasure hunt, an epic journey through America's hidden gems. Ever wondered what treasures are hiding in your neighbor's garage right now? What if I told you that a rusty old car covered in dust could be worth more than your house? Well, buckle up, mate, because what you're about to hear will change the way you look at every barn, garage, and forgotten shed you pass by. Picture this scene. Two blokes are cruising down a country road, not knowing they're about to stumble upon automotive gold worth tens of thousands of pounds. The gravel crunches beneath their tires as they venture off the beaten track, following nothing but their gut instinct and years of experience hunting for America's forgotten treasures. Mike and his mate Frank aren't your typical antiquers. These guys live for the thrill of the hunt, the rush of discovering something extraordinary in the most unexpected places. They're freestyling today, which means no predetermined stops, no planned visits, just pure instinct guiding them towards their next big find. Now, here's the thing about treasure hunting. It's about reading the signs. When you see satellite dishes scattered about, it usually means the owner's a bit of a collector. When you spot something with a for sale sign on a quiet country road, that's when your heart starts pumping a bit faster. Frank spots it first, a dirt bike with a makeshift for sale sign. Nothing too exciting on its own, but it's the gateway to something much bigger. You see, these experienced pickers know that where there's one treasure, there are usually more hiding nearby. They pull up to meet Norm, the owner. First impressions matter in this game. Norm seems friendly enough, the kind of genuine bloke who makes you feel at home straight away. These guys have learned that building rapport is half the battle. People don't sell their prized possessions to strangers. They sell to people they trust. Mike explains their game. They're looking for anything old, especially American-made items, advertising pieces, motorcycles, vintage signs, anything with history and character. Norm mentions he's got an old Ford tractor, but the lads politely pass. Tractors aren't really their specialty. Then Norm drops the bombshell that changes everything. He mentions an old car. Now, you've got to understand something about car collectors. They're secretive by nature. They don't advertise their best stuff. Half the time the owner doesn't even realize what they're sitting on. So when Norm casually mentions this old car, Mike and Frank exchange a look. This could be anything from a rusty banger to automotive royalty. They follow Norm around to take a look, and what they see stops them dead in their tracks. "Forget the motorcycle!" Frank practically shouts. "Forget the bloody motorcycle!" There, sitting in front of them like a sleeping giant, is a 1967 Ford Fairlane GT. Not just any Fairlane. Mind you, this is a 390 GT with a 4-speed manual transmission. In the muscle car world, this is proper royalty. Let me paint you the picture here. The year is 1967. The Vietnam War is raging. The Beatles are dominating the charts, and American car manufacturers are in an arms race to build the fastest, most powerful machines ever to grace the roads. The Fairlane GT was Ford's answer to the growing demand for speed and style. This particular beast is finished in what appears to be original paint. Original paint on a 1967 muscle car is like finding a first edition Shakespeare in a charity shop. It's rare, it's valuable, and it tells a story that can't be replicated. Frank's getting properly excited now. He knows his motors, and he can see this isn't just any old car. The original mag wheels are still fitted. The 8-track player is still in the dashboard, a proper time capsule from the era when muscle cars ruled American highways. But here's where it gets interesting. Norm bought this car back in 1973. He's owned it for decades, and anyone who knows cars will tell you that when you buy from a long-term owner, especially one who's a mechanic by trade, you're usually getting something special. These guys don't keep rubbish, they keep the good stuff. Norm starts explaining the technical details, and this is where Frank's expertise really shines through. The engine is completely original, which is music to any collector's ears. But then Norm mentions he's made some modifications. He's fitted 428 cylinder heads to the original 390 engine. Now, for those who don't speak muscle car, let me translate. The 390 engine was already a proper powerhouse, but by fitting larger 428 heads, Norm has essentially given this car a significant boost in horsepower. We're talking about an extra 25 horses, which in the muscle car world is massive. Frank is practically drooling at this point. He's got what he calls Fairlane fever, and anyone who's ever fallen in love with a car will know exactly what he means. It's that moment when logic goes out the window and your heart takes over. But here's where the real skill comes in. Despite his excitement, Frank has to remain level-headed. This is business, not just pleasure. He's having what he calls an emotional affair with this car, but he can't let that cloud his judgment when it comes to negotiating. The dance begins. Norm starts at 8,000 pounds. Frank counters with 7 grand, but he wants to include the motorcycle as well. Norm's not having it. 7 grand for both? Not a chance. This is the delicate art of negotiation. Both parties know the car's worth, but they're coming at it from different angles. Norm sees a cherished possession he's maintained for decades. Frank sees a business opportunity, but also a chance to give this car the life it deserves. Frank makes a tactical decision. He drops the motorcycle from the deal entirely. Sometimes in negotiations, you have to simplify things to move forward. 7,000 pounds. Just for the car. No extras, no complications. There's a moment of silence. These are the seconds that can make or break a deal. Norm's got his poker face on, but you can see he's considering it. 7 grand is serious money, and he knows these guys will appreciate the car. Finally, Norm breaks. Let's do it. The handshake that follows seals more than just a financial transaction. It's the passing of automotive heritage from one enthusiast to another. Frank gets the keys, and you can see that Frank's temperature needs checking because his Fairlane fever is properly raging now. They've just secured a genuine piece of American muscle car history, and they both know it. Norm seems pleased too. He's not just getting money for his car, he's ensuring it goes to someone who truly understands its value. The deal includes getting the car transported, which means phone calls to arrange collection. This isn't just a matter of driving it away. Classic cars like this need specialist transport to ensure they arrive safely at their destination. From a business perspective, Frank's made a brilliant deal. The amount he's paid versus the car's potential value gives him a healthy profit margin. But more than that, he's rescued a piece of automotive history that might otherwise have sat gathering dust. The irony isn't lost on anyone. They stopped for a motorcycle and ended up buying a Ford Fairlane. That's the beauty of treasure hunting. You never know what you're going to find. And the best discoveries are often the ones you weren't looking for. As they say their goodbyes to Norm, there's a sense of satisfaction all around. Norm-'s got cash in his pocket, and the knowledge that his beloved Fairlane is going to someone who appreciates it. Frank and Mike have secured a proper gem that will make some lucky collector very happy indeed. This is just the beginning of their adventure, though the day is young, and there are more treasures waiting to be discovered. The next stop will take them to meet Gary, a man who has inherited his father's extensive car collection and is facing some difficult decisions about what to keep and what to let go. But that's where our story takes an even more interesting turn. Gary's not just selling cars. He's selling family history, memories, and a legacy that spans generations. His father started collecting back in 1948, accumulating dozens of vehicles over the decades. Now Gary's looking at this collection not just as cars, but as a potential college fund for his 4 grandchildren. The emotional weight of selling family heirlooms adds a completely different dimension to these negotiations. It's one thing to buy from someone who's simply looking to make some money. It's entirely different when you're redealing with someone who is making tough choices about preserving family legacy versus providing for future generations. When they arrive at Gary's property, they're greeted by the sight of multiple barns and outbuildings. This isn't just a collection. This is a proper automotive archive. Gary's father was a real estate broker in the late 40s and 50s, which gave him access to barns and properties where forgotten cars were often discovered. At one point, Gary's father owned about 50 vehicles. 50. Try to imagine that for a moment. 50 classic cars, each with its own story, its own history. Some were restored, others were projects, but all were preserved by someone who recognized their value long before the rest of the world caught on. The first barn they enter reveals the scope of this collection. There's a 1916 Studebaker that came all the way from Nova Scotia. Gary's father paid just £100 for it back in the early 50s. Remember, this was when these cars were just old, not yet considered classics. That £100 investment is now worth thousands. Next to it sits a beautiful 1927 Buick. These cars represent different eras of American automotive history. The Studebaker is from the pioneering days when cars were still a luxury for the wealthy. The Buick is from the roaring 20s, when mass production was making automobiles accessible to more people. Gary admits he's not a mechanic himself. He's not someone who restores these cars or even drives them regularly. For him, it's about the history, the connection to his father, and the stories each vehicle carries. This is pure preservation rather than restoration. But then they spot something that gets everyone's attention. A 1939 Ford pickup truck sitting quietly in the corner. This isn't just any truck. It's a Kansas truck, which means it's lived its life in a dry climate. Dry climate equals minimal rust, which in the classic car world is like finding the Holy Grail. The 1938 and 1939 Ford trucks are considered iconic in automotive circles. 1938 was significant because Ford introduced hydraulic brakes, more cargo space, and that distinctive oval grille that's become so recognizable. With only 2 years of production for this body style, they're incredibly rare today. This particular truck has been sitting for about 15 years. Gary's brother drove it onto a trailer a decade and a half ago, and it's been sleeping ever since. But Gary reckons it wouldn't take much to get it running again. Sometimes the best barn finds are the ones that have been properly stored. The truck's bed appears to be in excellent condition. The floor might need some work, but that's expected after all these years. What's important is the structural integrity, the originality, and the potential for restoration. Danielle, who's part of their team, makes an excellent point about originality. You can buy a restored vintage automobile anywhere. What's special is finding automobiles that haven't been touched, that are still in their pure vintage state. This truck is exactly that. It's a time capsule waiting to be awakened. The negotiation begins with an offer of £4,000. Gary's not keen. He really doesn't want to let it go for that price. And he's got a point. Pickup trucks are incredibly popular in the classic car world. They're always in demand because they combine utility with style. Gary was thinking more like £6,000. That's a significant gap, and it creates one of those tense moments that can make or break a deal. The difference between 4 and 6,000 isn't just about money. It's about perceived value and emotional attachment. Frank counters with 4,500. Gary's still not interested. This is where experience and patience become crucial. You can't rush these negotiations. Sometimes you have to be prepared to walk away, which can be the hardest part when you really want something. But then Gary mentions something that changes everything. The truck doesn't have a title now. For those unfamiliar with vehicle transactions, the title is essentially the legal proof of ownership. Without it, buying a vehicle becomes significantly more complicated. Missing titles aren't uncommon with older vehicles. Papers get lost, misplaced, or destroyed over decades, but it does create additional work for the buyer. They'll need to contact the DVLA equivalent, find bills of sale, and basically prove the vehicle isn't stolen. It's not impossible, but it is a proper headache. This missing title gives the buyers some negotiating leverage. They're taking on additional risk and administrative burden. Danielle points out that while it's not a deal breaker, it is a massive headache that needs to be factored into the price. Frank increases his offer to £50 to £100, but Gary's sticking at 5,500. They're getting closer, but they're not quite there yet. Sometimes, in negotiations, you reach a point where someone needs to make a decision. Do you want the deal or not? Gary makes it clear that if he doesn't sell it, he won't be sad. That's actually a strong negotiating position. When someone's not desperate to sell, they can afford to hold out for their price. But it also means the buyer needs to decide how badly they want the item. Frank's grandfather once told him that the time to buy an antique is when you see it. That's wisdom born from experience. The perfect piece at the perfect price doesn't come along often. When it does, you need to be ready to act. After some internal debate, Frank decides to take it for £5,500. It's more than he initially wanted to pay. But sometimes you have to trust your instincts. This truck is original. It's rare, and it has the potential to be something really special with the right restoration. The handshake seals another deal, and plans are made for collection. Frank estimates about 35, who 1051 M19 Sep 25 £100 in repairs to get it back on the road, which still leaves room for a healthy profit. But more importantly, they're saving another piece of automotive history. These aren't just business transactions. They're rescue missions for forgotten pieces of American culture. Each car they save is one less piece of history, lost to rust, neglect, or the scrapyard. The day continues with more discoveries, more negotiations, and more opportunities to preserve automotive heritage. But what's becoming clear is that this isn't just about buying and selling cars. It's about understanding value, recognizing potential, and appreciating the stories these machines carry. Every classic car has lived a life. It's transported families, witnessed historical events, and been part of countless personal stories. When professional pickers like Frank and Mike acquire these vehicles, they're not just buying metal and engine parts. They're buying history, memories, and the opportunity to give these machines a new chapter in their story. The next phase of their journey will take them deeper into Gary's collection, where they'll encounter a 1934 Ford Cabriolet that will test their expertise and negotiating skills even further. But that's just the beginning of what promises to be an extraordinary adventure through America's hidden automotive treasures. This is the world of professional picking, where knowledge, instinct, and passion combine to preserve pieces of history that might otherwise be lost forever. It's a world where a casual drive down a gravel road can lead to discoveries worth tens of thousands of pounds, and where every barn door opened might reveal the find of a lifetime. Thanks for watching. If you liked it, please like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!